it's a Dragonite. Oh, wow. I got it, a little bit of supercharged Pokemon ball, and now I have it in my Pokedex. We've all worked with experts, and I worked with my niece's boyfriend when I was trying to figure out how to actually play Pokemon, and because I wanted to become a better Pokemon trainer. And what's fascinating is that I don't think I would call him an expert, but he's very good at it. He's at level 28. I'm at level 20. And throughout the time, it was a great bonding experience that I had with him because he's going to be my niece's husband-to-be. But what's fascinating is that I realized that, you become, I wanted to learn more about what experts are from that experience. And I realized that I've been doing this understanding of it for a couple of years now. Back in the 1990s, I blame Marshall Goldsmith for putting me into a path where I'm at right now. I read a book called Future of Leader, and he wrote the 360-degree feedback. A lot of you probably know that. And we use it at work. And I thought, wow, this is revolutionary. I want to be that. I want to be this individual who is an expert in his field, and people ask him stuff about it. So I said, okay, fine. How do I do that? Not only can I read a lot of material around it, but also I can study the individuals around me and understand why people call my colleagues experts in the area that I'm at. So a phenomenological study emerged out of that by using observational experiences as data collection for experiential material. So I started doing this study many years. And what's interesting is that earlier this year, I kind of rediscovered my work and thought, I need to start writing about this. So I did. And as I started writing, I started researching more about what my colleagues have been writing about in the Harvard Business Review. So if you type in experts in the search box in the Harvard Business Review, you will see 1,592 entries on what experts are. Expert white papers, online posts, journal articles. So I read them all. And I ended up having a meta-analysis of all of this material that resulted in around 500,000 study participants. I thought, that must be good information. And therefore, how does that work with the study that I've been doing, which is now a longitudinal study, to see if I can figure out what experts are and what expertise is. So I layered that with around 150,000 participants that I've been working on throughout these years, and came up with 2 buckets. And the 2 buckets are packaged experts and genuine experts. Now, don't freak out as you see the words and go, oh my God, am I one? Am I the other? Am I worthy of the award that I got? Am I the one who I'm not supposed to be quoting this? Should I be creating my own? Don't freak out. Everybody has a space and a role in our industry, and we all have expertise. As I said a while ago, we've all worked with experts. You yourself are an expert in your own field. But let me tell you a little bit about what genuine experts are and what their journey looks like through this study that I have done. So in the packaged one, you will notice that there will be 3 main themes that they fall under. One would be they are very good at curating material. 2, they're very good at repackaging that material, and by doing that, they're able to actually cultivate a following. If we look at it from the other side, the genuine experts have deep smarts. They're very good at very specific topics. And we've worked with those individuals. And also, by that, they are able to share that knowledge. They share it readily. And by sharing it readily, they now gain some following. So with these 2 buckets, I tried to figure out how does that actually work out with our lives right now and our reality. So let me introduce you to a story of 2 sisters, Judith and Angela. Back in 2000, so I was a couple of years already into the study of figuring out what experts are and what expertise is, because I myself wanted to be one, and I figured, why don't I talk with these individuals who worked for me? So Judith was my admin, Angela was my instructor. It was her first time teaching. And I worked in a company called Sun Microsystems, and I was fascinated by their background. And Angela comes from a background of Spanish literature and anthropology. That was her degree in bachelor's degree. And Judith had a bachelor's in American Studies. They both came from the UC system, University of California, and they moved to New York City. And that's where my office was. So the first thing that I thought of was, okay, why would you have moved? And what's interesting is through the years I realized that that was actually a purposeful activity for them, which I will share with you in a bit why that is. And then secondly, that first time that I met them, it was that connection that is unexplainable, that you wanted to actually learn more about people. How many of you, by a show of hands, have met somebody in this conference that you haven't met before and said, you know what, I actually like this connection, I like this person, and I would love to have not just exchange business cards, but to actually follow up. Anyone? There you go. Social scientists call this punctuated equilibrium. We go through a cycle of introduction to equilibrium when we meet someone. And there's a couple of stages in going through them. Anywhere from, oh, I'm a little afraid, I'm taking a risk by actually introducing myself, all the way to acceptance, all the way to adoption, all the way to, oh, we now have equilibrium, we're now friends, and let's have lunch or whatever. Punctuated equilibrium do not go through this bell curve moment. They just go from introduction all the way to equilibrium. They puncture the cycle. And what's interesting about that is that's what I call an X factor that exists that allows you to create those moments. And I love that relationship because you know they are bound by trust and they are bound by long-term understanding of the both of you to mature together in this endeavorous friendship. So that's the first thing that I highlight when I talk about Judith and Angela. There was punctuated equilibrium. And then I also understood that they had this interesting interdisciplinary background of who they are. Because not only were they coming from San Francisco to New York, but they actually wanted to go to a totally different environment than what they were expecting. The third component is this creation of validation and support in the environment that we were at. And I liken this to a lot of discussions that I've had with them through the years because I said, could you be part of my study? I know I couldn't name it, so I just said I wanted to be an expert study. And we both together grew and understood, and through 16 years have learned to understand what experts is and what genuine expertise look like. What is good news here is that Angela is now, from the background that she was at, is now the head scientist for the New York Health Department, which is a feeding ground for the CDC. And Judith moved all the way back to San Francisco again, bringing all of her New York experience, and actually became lead in her marketing department at a premier social media company. So I thought they were experts in their field through this different weaving of how to get there than what we have considered, what we've learned from Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours and everything. Yes, we do that, but there are these 3 additional pieces that I wanted everyone to actually consider. So one of the things that Marshall has said was to make sure that you share your information, so we're sharing that right now. And the 3 components are interdisciplinary. You don't want to not just use that 1,000 hours doing the same thing over and over again. That doesn't get you anywhere. 2, you want to trust through punctuated equilibrium. And then 3, you want to have an environment that continuously validates and supports you because it will actually get you to where you want to be as genuine experts. Thanks.